Everyone, I'm Becca. I am a social media consultant, and today I'm going to be talking to you about building your TikTok toolbox, giving you all the creative techniques that you need to level up your content. If you have any questions from this session, please feel free to tweet me at beccasocial or share me your favourite TikToks. I'm totally up for that too. But let's get started because there's a lot to get through. So I'm going to be talking about building your TikTok toolbox, and this is going to apply whether you are looking at organic content or whether you want to make ads. I've split the session into two halves, so we're going to be looking at why you might want to be using TikTok, hint, you should, and how you can actually reach those audiences and get the best results. So first of all, why should you advertise on TikTok? Let's dive in. Now, something that I've noticed is people tend to feel a little bit intimidated by TikTok as a platform. It's kind of the new kid on the block still. People don't understand how it works entirely, and in terms of ads, they don't know where to start. But I can assure you, if you've ever run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads, the TikTok ad setup behind the scene will look very, very familiar to you, and it works in the same way. So you've got your ad objectives as you would expect: awareness, consideration, and conversion, and you can use those as you wish. So it should all feel familiar and you can get started straight away. But let's talk about what you need to know about TikTok users on the platform. So 40% of all users on TikTok are between the ages of 10 and 29 years old. Now, fun fact, this has actually gone down since last year. So previously it was 62% of users fell in this age group, but this tells us that the user base on TikTok is aging. Everyone's getting older, but that's really great news, because a couple of years ago, many people assumed that if your audience wasn't young, then there was no point in using TikTok to target them. But this is changing. This is not the case, so please don't discount audiences before you've tested that content on TikTok. Just for some context, there are 1 billion monthly active users on the platform right now, and this is expected to reach 1.5 billion users by the end of 2022. And there are over 13 million monthly active users in the UK alone. So there's definitely an appetite out there for TikTok content. You just need to know how to make it. So let's have a think about if your business is right for TikTok. Now, first things first, if you are an e-commerce business, TikTok can be extremely powerful in helping you build your brand and sell products. But don't be put off if you are working in the B2B sector like me. You can still use TikTok to help build brands, raise awareness, and drive engagement across social. It can actually be a really good way of showcasing existing employees at a company, and this can help if you're looking to do talent acquisition and reputation management on social via TikTok. So I want to give you a little bit of an insight here about TikTok's algorithm and how it works, because this is often something that people don't know they don't get it, they don't understand, and it intimidates them and makes them just go, nope, not using TikTok, but I want to change my mind. So when somebody posts on TikTok, that is analysed by TikTok's AI and then pushed to a small test group of users on the platform who TikTok believes are going to engage with this content. So all of the content within that video is considered. What's actually been filmed, voiceovers, sounds, how long it is, all of these factors are going to be taken into consideration, and then they're going to be essentially marked against how they perform with this audience. So if it has positive engagement, so people are liking the video, they're leaving comments, they're watching it the whole way through, maybe they're watching it more than once, sharing it with their friends, maybe they follow you. This is all positive sentiment, and this means that it will be pushed to a further group of users. It's basically been deemed successful as a piece of content, and then you can start to see kind of like a snowball effect in the levels of engagement. And this is what makes TikTok unique. So unlike other platforms where you really need a large audience to help get a high level of reach and engagement with your content, with TikTok, it could be your first video that goes viral. You never know. If, however, when you post that video, it doesn't resonate with people, they scroll past it, they're not watching it for the whole way through, they don't engage with it, they don't interact with it, then you will start to notice the level of views and likes tail off, and your video won't be pushed out anymore. What this means is that TikTok is an extremely immersive experience. This loop mechanism means that users stick around and they get used to seeing good content time and time again, which is why you should really consider it as part of your marketing strategy. Now, I want to show you something which is quite funny. This is my screen time on TikTok. I am fully outing myself here as how long I spend on social media. I'm sure many social media managers can relate. If you look at any of your other social media apps as well, it's quite alarming, it's a little bit embarrassing, not going to lie. But this is not uncommon when it comes to TikTok. So I am sure a little bit more hooked than the average user. I'm going to blame my job for that. But my average is 1 hour, 12 minutes per day. And that's not that far off the average on TikTok. So in the UK, TikTok users are spending an average of 52 minutes on the app every day. It's quite a lot of time. It is a lot of time. Makes me feel a bit better about my average. But there's huge opportunity here for you to get in front of your audience because they are spending enough time on the app. TikTok is also one of the most engaging social media platforms. On average, the average session is about 10 minutes, which is very high compared to some of the other platforms. Also, fun fact, so TikTok is one of the only platforms which serves ads to its users telling you to stop scrolling and go to bed. I've seen that ad many times. It's actually from TikTok and they're like, hey, you need to stop, but I don't. So why are people spending so much time on the app? It's because of instant gratification. Videos are short, the content is entertaining, the interface promotes this never-ending scroll, it's very easy to use, and it's hard to stop. Let's face it, if you keep getting served good content, you're going to keep going. Another thing which is really helpful to know is that 46% of TikTok users engage with the content without any other distractions. So I know that when I use Twitter, I'm usually doing something else at the same time. It might be watching TV, it might be sitting on the train, might be doing, some other activity, listening to a podcast. When I'm on TikTok, however, nothing else is going on. I definitely won't be listening to a podcast, definitely won't be listening to music, and I'm probably not watching TV because all of those things interfere with my TikTok experience. When people are on TikTok, they are paying attention, partly because it's filling up the whole screen, it's very immersive in that sense, but also because of the sounds being such an integral part of the platform and the experience. You're not going to get them distracted by something in the background. They are eyes on TikTok. So now we've talked about that, let's have a think about how you advertise on TikTok. So I'm going to talk you through a couple of the different ad types which you can get started with straight away. All you need is a TikTok ad account. It's free to sign up. It's super easy. And the first one we're going to talk about is an in-feed ad. So these appear in between regular organic content on TikTok. And they are high impact. They're sound on. They're taking up that full screen again. And you can use these to help build that awareness. You can have a call to action in there. And they're good because if you get it right and if you make them look as organic as possible, and that's a big tip right there, then you can get really, really good performance out of these. And I've got an example of just that in action. So here is an ad. This is by KFC. This was shown, if you turn back time and think about when we were coming out of the first lockdown, lots of restaurants, takeaways and everything had been shut. And as they started to open again, KFC decided to run this ad. Now, it performed really, really well. It managed to reach over 1 million people and had a 10.5% engagement rate, which is very, very high, even for TikTok. How did they do this? Why was this performing so well? Well, that note on looking organic. The first few seconds of this ad look like an organic piece of content. If you look closely there, you can see that is not real KFC. That is not KFC chicken. It's not the chips. It's not the packaging. It's somebody who misses their takeaway during lockdown, who are trying to have that experience at home. There's a hint of the branding with the text label that you can see there, but basically this look and feel of organic content is what helps catch people's attention and then keeps them watching. Maybe somebody who saw this thought, actually, I really fancy KFC. I'm going to keep watching because maybe they're making themselves. But then KFC come in and they surprise you because they add, the longer you watch, the more branding you see, the more polished it looks. And then you've got the chicken. And then finally, the call to action on that final frame. And you can use this, and I would very highly recommend that you do use this. Keep your ads looking as organic as possible. I don't even say that you have to make them kind of more branded as you go on. You absolutely can do that for sort of your brand recognition. But if you make it look too polished, it's not going to resonate with audiences. There are other platforms where that more polished content can live. But when it's TikTok focused, we want to make it look like it belongs here. That's something really important. So in-feed ads, they're really, really great for engagement. So you can expect on average 5% engagement rate for these types of ads. And on average, a 1 to 3% click-through rate for in-feed ads. Let's talk about the other type of ad that you can get started with. So Spark ads are really great. They're kind of an extension of in-feed ads, and these help you amplify existing content that you've already published organically. So I'd really recommend, if you are experimenting with TikTok, you need to use the app, you need to try out some content, you need to post consistently if you can. And from there, you might notice a few of your videos really take off. The algorithm has favoured your content, and it's when you've kind of done that little bit of testing that you could use a Spark ad. So I would always recommend taking your best performing organic content, putting those into a Spark ad so you can kind of continue surfing off the top of that content. Here's an example for you of a Spark ad. So this is by Candyworks UK. It's an online sweet shop. Again, I seem to have gone for a bit of a food theme here, but their intention was to drive sales and brand awareness. So what they did was they took their best performing organic content, and it's quite satisfying to watch actually. It's them literally fulfilling orders and doing close-ups of the latest sweets and that kind of thing, and it kind of makes you want to order some sweets, I'm not going to lie. But they did this and they amplified that content, and then were able to get 2.5 times return on ad spend, which is great. So now we know a little bit about the how and the why. I want to go through those all-important creative techniques. And remember, you can apply these to both organic and paid content, but also you might be able to adapt some of these if you were producing Instagram Reels or idea pins on Pinterest. So first of all, we've got authenticity, framing, trends, key messaging, TikTok creator marketplace, music and sound, and finally, and most importantly, accessibility. So let's start with authenticity. So when you're making TikToks, I've touched on this, you need to be looking as organic as possible, and you can do that by using real people. Make these seem like real videos. They're not a super duper polished ad. And this is actually TikTok's motto. So they say, don't make ads, make TikToks. It's really, really, really important when you are thinking about producing your ads. If you produce something for TikTok which you feel could double up as a TV ad, you're doing it wrong. Keep it authentic, keep it looking as organic as possible, and you're already truly on the way to success. The next thing you need to think about is framing, staying in the safe zone. So let me tell you more about what this means. Here we've got some examples of me showing you what the safe zone is in a TikTok. So all too often I see, and it can be organic content, it can be paid content, people covering up important parts of their video with the TikTok interface. They don't realise that it's happening, but it can be really, really frustrating and is a surefire way to make people scroll past and not come back. So what you need to make sure is that you are avoiding the share button, so up the side of the screen. Make sure any of your labels or your captions have not been made so big that they are covered up by those. You want to avoid the very top of the screen, because sometimes TikTok will run promotions where they place a little sticker towards the top of the screen, which can cover up important call to actions or make sure your product isn't way up there. And also really, really important to leave space for your captions and your subtitles. So when you're writing a caption, be wary if you've got a really wordy caption, that's going to take up space. And if you are adding subtitles, which you definitely should be, that's also going to take up some space. So make sure that any stickers that you're placing on top, or if you're talking about a product, that this is all in the center of the screen if possible. Next thing, trends. So you need to keep up to date with TikTok culture. You might go, oh my God, how am I going to do that? That's too much. TikTok is never ending. It is. First thing you need to do is download the app, start using it. even if you have been really reluctant and you're like, no, I'm going to spend 52 minutes on it a day, you don't have to jump to that straight away, but you really need to understand how the app works and what the community is like on there. What you can then do is use TikTok's trend discovery tool, and this will help you, whether you're working with a client or your own brand, dive into different niches and have a look, see what hashtags are trending, see what types of videos are being used, how are people filming them, are there any techniques that you could use as inspiration for your own content, what sounds are being used. All of these things need to be researched when you are producing content so that you can understand what's working and what's not working, or if there's a window of opportunity where you've seen something used maybe in one industry and not the other, maybe this is the time to try it in your own niche and see if it works. So you can do that through TikTok's trend discovery tool. The next thing you need to think about is your key messaging. So you do not have long to share your message, not long at all. So the length of the video that you need to produce needs to be somewhere around the 21 second to 34 second mark. It is not a long time, but TikTok are increasing the length of time that you can upload. They bumped it up to 3 minutes, and now they've bumped it up to 10 minutes. I'm not saying upload a 10-minute video, but people are spending a lot of time on the platform. But if you get it between this range here, you could potentially see a 1.6% lift in impressions because it's kind of in that sweet spot. On that note, you need to capture your audience's attention, and you need to do that part within the first 3 seconds. Now, I would suggest that you use a technique called pattern interrupt, which is where you do something to disrupt the feed, do something unexpected, whether that is through what you are saying or what's on screen. Don't terrify your audience, but do something that's going to stand out as they are scrolling through the feed. And if you can do that within the first 3 seconds, that's great. What you're aiming for with all of your content is a higher view through rate. This is going to work great if you are running ads, because you're going to have a higher view through rate, which is going to boost your kind of ad performance and mean that your audience are more likely to convert. They're going to take that action that you want them to, whether that's clicking through to your landing page, giving you a follow. That's what you're aiming for, and this is how you can do it. The other thing to note is that 33% of auction ads, so that includes both of the ads that we've talked about, they have the highest view through rate when you break the fourth wall. So you need to get used to either yourself or somebody in your team talking to camera. You can't just always follow somebody around or be, kind of showing something. Again, I always think of like, if it was a TV ad, that's not going to work in a scenario. You really need to get somebody to communicate directly to your audience, build up that trust, build up that human connection, and you're going to have a great ad. The next thing, and this is actually where that connection between your audience and your brand can come in handy, with the TikTok Creator Marketplace. So this is where you can work with the very best creators on the platform. So TikTok has another tool, which is this marketplace, where you can search for different creators in different industries. You can see what's trending, you can see the level of engagement that they're getting, and then essentially work towards setting up a collaboration with these creators. And the best part about that is that they will know TikTok culture. They will get it, they will understand it, they'll know already how to speak to the audience in the niche that you're looking to be successful in. So there is a 193% increase in a view through rate when partnering with creators. That is because if you manage to get somebody who's already got really strong organic content in that space, suddenly they're in your ad, or they're working with you, they're collaborating, they're building that content with you, people are going to recognize them. People are going to watch for longer. There's already going to be some of that hard work done in terms of building trust. So you should really use that to your advantage. Next thing, really, really important, and I've touched on this already, especially when we consider how immersive the platform should be, and that's music and sound. So you always need to design for a sound-on experience, whether that be speaking to camera, doing a voiceover, using music in a creative way. So maybe you are cutting what's on screen in time with the music. All of these things help create a really immersive experience and are going to work in your favour. And a top tip is TikTok. Again, they have so many materials and resources that are available to use for free. So go crazy on their website. But they've got a music library which you can use for your ads, and you can sort by beats per minute. Go for songs which have 120 beats per minute, because these have been proven to have a positive impact on your ad performance, helping to drive a higher view through rate. Finally, accessibility. So this is so important. And whenever you're using any of these creative techniques and you're creating content, you need to make sure that it's accessible. You can do that in two ways, using auto captions or text overlays. So here I've got some examples for you where I've used text overlays. So if you're looking for that pattern interrupt, you can use text overlays or text stickers, whatever you want to call them, to draw the eye in. You can use your brand colours, get people engaged. However, when you're actually delivering speech within your TikToks, whether that is a voiceover or speaking to camera, you want to kind of avoid doing too much in those overlay stickers. Use them more as a way to point or highlight really, really vital parts of your video. But on the whole, you want to be using TikTok's auto subtitle tool. It's really easy to use. It's really quick. It'll analyze everything that you've said, transcribe it for you. You can just go in, change any typos or anything like that, make sure it matches what you've said, but usually it's pretty accurate. And the most important thing about why you should use this is because that can be read by screen readers, which is ultimately going to mean that your content is truly accessible. So, got to go quick, but we've got a few examples here showing you these techniques in action. So we've got a day in the life video. Now, when it loads, any second now, does anyone recognise this event? I've heard that it's quite good. Quite fun. Anyway, day in the life videos are really, really great. They can be across any industry. They provide that human connection. They're engaging, and they can be really helpful in showing a behind the scenes look and building a relationship with your audience. This is really, really good, especially if you are working more in a B2B industry. If you need a way to manage your reputation or help with recruitment, show off team culture, day in the life videos on your corporate accounts, or if you have engaged employees on TikTok already, get them to do this, and that can be a really, really beneficial activity. Product showcase, so we touched on e-commerce earlier. So if you are selling products, then have the creator or a member of your team showcase these in videos. So show off the latest stock, show how they're going to be packaged, show them in situ so your customer, your potential customer, can imagine themselves in your shoes and see how they're going to be able to use their products. Before and afters are always really successful as well. So be creative when you are thinking about how you are showing that before and after. You don't necessarily need to go in the right order. You can mix up where the cut is, so maybe you show the after first of all and then kind of work your way around to this is what it was before, but you've already delivered that kind of like end result. This is what you can have straight away within those first 3 seconds. And this is a really, really great example of that with this Only Curls hair product. And then finally, telling an origin story. So again, not industry specific, you can use it in any area, and it's a really good way, again, if you're maybe a small business or you're a bigger brand, giving that kind of history of how everything started, how far you've come, what's on the horizon. Again, it really, really helps build trust with your audience. So I'd highly recommend this. Finally, once you've got all of those techniques in place, keep it human, test all of them, keep your content short and snappy because people don't have the longest attention span. And if you are running ads, I would recommend refreshing your creatives every week. Mix up the creative techniques, see what works best with your audience, and hopefully you will have a successful TikTok campaign. Thank you so much. If you do have any questions, please do tweet me at beccasocial and I'm more than happy to answer them. But thank you for listening.